I have a daily chart on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And what I would like to update everyone on is the fact, all of our traders, is that the Dow Jones, going into that last 15 minutes, the Dow Jones had a lot of volatility in it. It closed down at 116.8. So the original lows at our highs at one time was 107. They pull it back to 70, and then they just threw out the sells going into the close. That is not a bull market as we have seen for so many months over months over months. Actually been the opposite. You buy them and they go higher. But not when you're in a pullback. Not when we called. When we called for a correction, we mean just that. So the Dow, this is the daily chart. One of the things that I'm going to be very clear about today on it is that the round trip. So right here was the highs on the Dow, and that was 17,350, all-time high. We made that high. We said there's going to be a pullback. We've had 2 days of actual fairly decent pullbacks in here to set new buys up at some point. We're long overdue, and generally you're going to put these bottoms in September. We're still in it, and parts of October can be where we get the lows in these markets and we're ready to go much higher. So one of the things that I'm going to say today, we opened up at 17,165 and the high was 17,171, and from that point we hit a low of 17,055. The 10-day simple moving average has been breached on this particular sell-off. 17,119 is the blue line, the 10-day simple. The 20-day is 17,104, and that's the red line. So basically, as we go through this pullback phase, these markets need to get sold down. So we're at a technical level here. I can say to everybody that the 50-day simple moving average is at 16,937. 16,937, that's the white line down here. And of course, one of the other key levels is going to be that 16,847. That's the 100-day down there. So look, the 50-day is coming into play. I'll just say that where we had that last 3-day rally for here, this was where our rally. We had 5 days up, and then we made a top, and from that top it sold off a little bit, and then we got that distribution bars. Here we got above the simple day moving averages that I talk about, and then that is what happens with the Dow Industrials. I have before us the Dow Jones weekly chart. On the pullbacks that we have called before, and I'll just draw a trend line there, we had a nice 3-day pullback and we hit new highs. So now this is a weekly sell in the Dow, and that the Dow was a little bit overbought there. That high once again was 17,350, and today's low was 17,055. That's already a 350 point pullback on the volatility in the Dow. And what I want to tell people clearly, once again, we sold off, and we're 17,055. We sold off hard in the last 15 minutes, down 116 points on the Dow. So therefore, what we're seeing is the volatility that has picked up, and where that bull run has been there. And this is a 50-day moving average down here, back when we had that pullback, and look what we did. We just rallied right on up. This was in January of the year. Every time that we get a good pullback, we make another high, and we have lost 350 points on the Dow from 17,350 down here to 17,055. 17,055, that is the low. And it closed on the low. Actually lower than some of the original lows on this weekly chart on the Dow Jones. Like we said, we called for the correction. We didn't call for anything more than that. This is the time of year in September that people swap out. They, sell some of the winners. to buy some of the dogs and whatnot. And what we see here is definitely a clear selling distribution at the closing bells, whether it's 30-minute or 15-minute. We are seeing that. That's quite opposite what a bull would do. And generally speaking, the bull has been on top, and it's been the opposite. They buy the last 30 minutes and 15 minutes, and they go up and they close on their high, and stocks follow with them. So the 1 weekly Dow Jones, I've already showed the daily Dow Jones. I'm just going to draw a simple trend line here, and then we're going to take this lower base right here. That's where we rallied from. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a double bottom test. That is for sure. So when you take this move right here, you can just take this move right here on this daily level. And the minute that we got below that line there going up diagonally, we broke down in it. And we broke down good. The last 2 days, it's been nothing but selling in those industrials. So far, we are going to conclude the Dow Jones, and other indexes are doing the same thing. We'll be talking about the fear indicators. We'll be talking about the key moving averages once again. This is a daily chart, so you know, MMTs, and this is the weekly distribution. Now, what ends up having to happen, though, from this high, and I'll just talk about this high right here, 17,350, 17,350. Now, when we take a look at where this high was, it was 17,277. That was the high of the weekly bar. And then for the weekly so far in this week, it's not over, of course. Today is 9/23/2014. And basically, the bull has some selling to do, just like they did here, and or like they did over here. Or you got down days here, you got down days, but each down day was met with another buy. And down day, volatility, another buy. Same thing here, and another buy and another new high. We will say one thing for sure, that things are going to pick up. We're going to come down and we're going to get this pullback. When it's done, out of the way, there's new buyers coming into the market.